The next day, the summit was peaceful for the first time in a long while. There were no alarms and the halls felt lighter. Even the sky outside seemed brighter, but the work was not done. Alex, Megan, and Rena had new duties. They joined the council and a few other delegates to write the new laws for emergencies. It was not easy. Everyone had different ideas about how to protect life, but also keep order. The meeting room was busy with voices. The green-feathered leader opened the session. Today, we must learn from what happened. We need rules that let us help each other. But do not bring harm, Alex spoke first. On Earth, we make plans for danger. But sometimes, you have to make choices in the moment. It is not always clear what is best. Megan added, we should trust each other to act for good. The rules should let us protect lives, not just punish mistakes. Some delegates worried that new rules could be used to hurt others or start fights. Others said that doing nothing was worse. Rena told the story of how she and her friends were saved. If Alex and Megan had waited, I would not be here. Sometimes, you have to trust someone's heart. The talks lasted all day. Arguments grew loud, but no one left the room. Beery, the furry engineer, suggested that every act in an emergency should be reviewed later by the council. That way, people could act quickly, but still be held responsible if they did wrong. By sunset, they had a draft of the new law. It was simple. In a true emergency, anyone could act to protect life, but must do their best not to harm others. Afterward, the council would review what happened and decide if the act was just. The law would be taught to all member worlds. Delegates took a break. Alex walked outside with Megan and Rena. They found a bench in the garden. The air was cool and flowers glowed softly. Rena looked thoughtful. I never thought rules could change. My people always obey the law. But now I see, sometimes the law must change for the people. Megan smiled. You are very wise, Rena. Laws should help, not just control. As they sat together, a group of young delegates from other worlds came to ask Alex and Megan about Earth. They wanted to know how humans survive so many dangers. Alex told stories about storms, wild animals, and how people work together to stay safe. Megan talked about building shelters and finding food. The young aliens listened with wide eyes, amazed that anyone could live on such a hard world. Soon, word spread that the council had voted to accept the new law. The delegates cheered, and some hugged each other. The green-feathered leader called a special ceremony to thank those who helped save the summit. Alex, Megan, and Rena were given medals of honor. The leader said, your actions showed us courage, but also kindness. You have made the galaxy safer. Not everyone was happy. A few old voices still warned about Death Worlders. But now, more people stood up to say the humans had brought hope, not danger. Even the sharp-tongued alien who had doubted them before came to shake Alex's hand. I was wrong, the alien said. Thank you. After the ceremony, the summit felt different. Delegates mixed together, sharing food and stories. Rena's friends invited Megan to join them for a special meal from their world. Alex played games with the children of many species, teaching them to skip stones on the garden pond. There was laughter where there had been fear. That night, the green-feathered leader called a private meeting with the writing team. We have made a new law together, but we must remember why. It was not just the rules, but the heart behind them. Let us promise to never forget. Alex nodded. We will not forget. Later, Alex and Megan walked by the water. The stars reflected on the surface. Megan said, I think the galaxy is a little better now. Alex smiled. It is, thanks to you. Megan shook her head. It was all of us. Rena, Beery, the council, even the ones who were afraid. Everyone had a part. They watched the stars. For a long time, the summit was almost over. Soon, everyone would return to their own worlds, taking the story of what happened with them. The next morning, the writing team finished the last lines of the new law. Rena was proud, but also a little Sad, I will miss you both, she said. Alex gave her a hug. We will visit, and you must come to Earth one day. Megan promised. We will always be friends. The summit's final day arrived. Delegates packed their things. Some took home flowers from the garden, others kept pictures and gifts. Before leaving, the green-feathered leader spoke one last time. This summit began in fear, but ends in hope. May we never forget the lesson we learned together. As the ships left the planet, the story of the Death Worlders who broke the rules was carried across the galaxy. Some people told it as a warning, others as a story of hope. But everyone remembered how, in a moment of crisis, courage and kindness had changed the future. That night, the stars over Solace shone brighter than ever. Alex, Megan, and Rena watched them from the garden, knowing the story was not just theirs anymore. It belonged to every world that wanted peace and the courage to do what was right. The hours after the fight in the control room were tense. The captured saboteurs were locked away, but everyone at the summit was worried. Security teams searched the halls, looking for anyone else who might try to hurt the delegates. The power was slowly coming back, but many systems were still weak. Megan and Rena sat together, talking quietly about what had happened. Alex stood near the door, listening for trouble. Later, the council called another meeting. This time, the hall was crowded, but the mood had changed. Many delegates now saw Alex and Megan as heroes. Some still did not trust humans, but the voices of thanks were growing stronger. The green-feathered leader thanked the humans and Rena for stopping the attack. The council promised to make new rules for emergencies and to give more trust to those willing to act when others could not. Still, some delegates were angry. A tall, shark-tongued alien stood up. The humans broke the rules twice. If everyone ignores the law, how can we have peace? The room grew quiet, waiting for an answer. Rena spoke up. Peace is not just about rules. It is about courage and kindness. Without Alex and Megan, many of us would not be here. The council agreed to a new plan. They would make a team to search the whole summit for hidden dangers. Alex, Megan, and Rena were asked to join. Other delegates volunteered, including a furry engineer named Beery and a quiet healer from a desert world. The team started their search right away. Megan fixed sensors and scanned for trouble. Rena read energy patterns, while Beery checked air. Vents and small spaces dotting a storage room. They found more signs of sabotage, wires cut, strange marks on the walls, and another small device. The team brought the evidence to the council. The green-feathered leader was worried. Whoever did this is not done. We must be ready for anything. At sunset, the summit was hit by another attack. All the doors in the medical wing locked at once. Some delegates were trapped inside, including sick children from 2 different worlds. The saboteur, a thin alien with gray skin, tried to block the rescue team. Alex and Megan pushed past him, breaking open a stuck door. The room was filling with smoke from a fire. Megan used a blanket to help the children breathe, while Alex carried one delegate who could not walk. Outside, security caught the saboteur, but Alex and Megan were already helping everyone escape. Rena worked with the healer to treat burns and calm the children. Beery fixed the vent system to clear out the smoke. By the time the fire was out, all the trapped delegates were safe. Word of the rescue spread quickly. Delegates from many worlds now wanted to thank the humans. Some even came forward with small gifts, flowers from a water world, a song from a singing plant, a hand-drawn map of the summit from the desert healer. Alex and Megan accepted the thanks, feeling shy but proud. Later that night, the green-feathered leader called a private meeting with Alex, Megan, and Rena. You have done more for peace than anyone here, the leader said. We want you to help us make new laws for emergencies. Rules that let us protect life, not just punish those who act. Megan listened carefully. She did not want humans to have special power. She only wanted all species to be safe. We can help write the new laws, she said. but everyone should have a voice. Even those who fear change. The leader nodded. We will listen to all. As the night grew quiet, the summit felt safer than before. Security teams stayed alert, but now they looked to Alex and Megan for advice. Rena, too, was seen as a pain. Hero among her people. Alex spoke to delegates about what it meant to grow up on a hard world and learn to protect others. Megan led a small class for engineers, teaching them how to fix power systems faster. In the garden, Alex found Rena sitting by the water. She looked at the stars. Do you think things will ever be normal again? She asked softly. Alex sat next to her. I think this is the new normal. Working together, learning from each other. It may not be easy, but it will be better. Rena smiled. Thank you for helping me believe. The next day, the delegates met to vote on the new laws. The room was full of quiet hope and worry. Some fear humans will become too powerful. Others said the summit was only safe because the humans had acted. The green-feathered leader asked for all voices to be heard. One by one, delegates shared their stories of the summit, the panic, the dangers, the moments when humans broke the rules but saved lives. Even the sharp-tongued alien who had doubted. Alex and Megan stood up and said, I was wrong. The law should not make us afraid to help. When the vote was finished, the council announced the result. New rules will be made. In an emergency, anyone could act to save lives, as long as they tried not to hurt others. Alex, Megan, and Rena were named to the team that would write the first draft of these laws. That night, there was a quiet celebration in the gardens. Flowers glowed under the stars. Music played, and delegates from many worlds danced together. Alex, Megan, and Rena sat by a small fire, thinking about what had happened. Megan said, I am glad we broke the rules. Sometimes you have to do what is right, not just what is written. Alex nodded. We changed things for the better. Rena smiled, her eyes bright. The story of the Death Worlders will be remembered. The summit was not over yet, but now there was hope. The galaxy would not forget what happened when the Death Worlders broke the rules. Alex woke up feeling uneasy. The night had been long and full of strange sounds from the summit building. Megan was already awake, talking quietly with Rena. There was no sun that morning. Thick clouds covered the sky, making the world outside gray and cold. Some lights in the halls still flickered, but many were out. The summit felt less safe than ever. After breakfast, the green-feathered leader sent a message to all delegates, asking them to remain calm and not leave the main area. Repairs were still happening, and engineers hoped to fix the power soon. But Alex and Megan both felt there was something wrong, something more than just broken wires. Megan shared her worries with Rena. When we found that strange device last night, it felt like someone was trying to hurt the summit on purpose. Rena nodded, her blue skin pale. It is possible. There are groups that do not want peace. Alex listened carefully. He remembered the burn marks on the wires and how the engineers said they had never seen damage like that before. He also remembered the predator that got in and how nothing should have broken through the barriers unless someone let it in. He turned to Megan and Rena. I think we should look for more clues. If someone is trying to ruin the summit, we need to find out who it is. Rena agreed. She wanted to protect her friends and her own people. Megan checked her tools, making sure she had a flashlight, a simple scanner, and a small first aid kit. They left their safe room quietly, so no one would notice them. Most delegates were still in the main hall, so the side halls were empty and dark. They moved through the building, listening for anything strange. Megan used her scanner on some broken panels and found energy readings that did not match the summit's. Normal power systems. Rena took notes, using her science pad. Alex kept watch, ready to protect them if anything happened. In one hallway, they found a door that was half open. Inside was a storage room, full of cleaning robots and spare parts. But in the corner, they saw a box that did not belong. It was covered in strange symbols. Megan scanned it and found it was giving off small pulses of energy, the same kind that had messed with the Summit's power. Rena gasped. This is not Summit tech. Someone brought this from outside. Alex opened the box, careful not to touch the wires. Inside, there were more devices like the one from last night. He remembered. The burn marks and guessed these were used to hurt the Summit system's dock. As they were looking at the box, they heard voices in the hall. Alex signaled for silence. 3 aliens entered the room, not noticing the humans at first. They wore dark cloaks and spoke in whispers. Megan listened, her translator catching only a few words. Disrupt, plan. Tonight, life support. Rena was shaking. She whispered, They're going to attack the life support system. Alex motioned for everyone to hide. The cloaked aliens started working with one of the devices. One of them, with sharp yellow eyes, noticed footprints near the box. He said something to his friends and started searching the room. Alex knew they would be found if they stayed. He signaled to Megan and Rena to move slowly toward the back door. They tried to be quiet, but Rena's foot slipped and made a small noise. The yellow-eyed alien spun around and shouted. The others ran after them. Alex pushed open the back door, and they ran into a service tunnel. The tunnel was dark and cold. Alex led the way, Megan right behind him, pulling Rena along. The footsteps followed. Megan dropped a cleaning robot behind him, hoping it would slow their pursuers. It worked for a moment. The sound of the robot bumping into the wall gave them a few extra seconds. The tunnel led to a small control room for the life support system. Rena quickly checked the systems. They have not damaged anything here yet, but the controls are easy to reach. If they plant their devices here, everyone could be in danger. Alex closed the door and locked it. Megan searched the room for tools they could use to defend themselves. She found a wrench and a fire extinguisher. Rena sent a message to the Summit security, but with the power weak, she was not sure it went through. The cloaked aliens arrived outside the control room. They tried the door, but it was locked. One of them began to break the lock with a tool. Megan gripped the wrench tightly. Alex stood near the door, ready to protect his friends. The door burst open, and the aliens rushed in. Alex used the fire extinguisher to spray a cloud of white mist, blinding the attackers. Megan swung the wrench, knocking one alien's hand away from the control panel. Rena screamed for help, hoping someone would hear. The fight was short and wild. Alex pushed one alien to the floor, while Megan blocked another from reaching the controls. The third ran out, maybe to get help. When the mist cleared, 2 of the cloaked aliens were tied up with cords Megan found in the room. Rena checked the controls again, making sure nothing was broken. Alex and Megan stood guard, watching the door. The third alien did not return. Minutes later, a security team arrived. They were surprised to find the humans defending the life support system. Rena quickly explained what happened, showing them the devices and the 2 captured saboteurs. The security chief, a big alien with blue armor, thanked Alex and Megan. You may have saved everyone here. Megan breathed a sigh of relief. We just did what we had to. Security took the saboteurs away, but the danger was not over. They did not know if there were more enemies inside the summit. The council was called again. This time, Alex, Megan, and Rena were asked to speak in front of everyone. In the main hall, the delegates listened as Rena explained what they had found. She showed the devices and explained how close the summit had come to disaster. Alex told how they followed the clues and stopped the attack. Megan spoke softly but clearly. We broke the rules again. But if we had waited, it could have been too late. The green-feathered leader looked at them with new respect. Some delegates clapped, others still looked uncertain. But many were starting to understand why the humans acted the way they did. The meeting ended with a promise to search for more saboteurs and to watch the summit carefully. That night, Alex, Megan, and Rena sat together, tired but proud. The danger was not over, but they had shown what it meant to stand up for what was right. Even when the rules said no, they could not let harm come to innocent lives. The galaxy was changing, and the story of the Death Worlders was only just beginning. Word spread fast through the summit after the attack by the wild creature. The delegates could not stop talking about the humans who broke the rule to save lives. Some said Alex and Megan were too dangerous to stay. Others, like Rena and her friends, felt thankful and even hopeful. The green-feathered leader of the Union called for an emergency meeting. Everyone was to gather in the main hall at noon. No one knew what the council would decide, and worry hung over the summit like a heavy cloud. Alex walked the halls with Megan and Rena by his side. Everywhere they went, eyes followed them. Some aliens whispered, some moved aside to make room. Alex felt the weight of their stares but kept his head up. Megan noticed two small delegates, shaking with worry. She knelt down and handed them pieces of fruit from her pack. The young aliens took the food with shy thanks. Rena tried to cheer up her group. She told them that humans were strong, but also kind. A few delegates who had been rescued the day before came to say thank you. They explained in broken English how they never believed Death Worlders could be gentle. Alex smiled and nodded, glad for even one good word. In the main hall, the air was thick with tension. The green-feathered leader spoke from the stage. We gathered to discuss what has happened. The humans have broken a law, but they have also saved many. We must listen to all voices before making a decision. Delegates took turns speaking. A tall, scaled ambassador called for the humans to be sent home at once, claiming they were too wild. Another, soft and covered in golden fur, argued that the rules were too strict if they forced everyone to stand by and do nothing when lives were in danger. Rena bravely stood to speak. Her voice was quiet but clear. My people owe their lives to Alex and Megan. They broke the rule, but they did it to protect us. If they had obeyed, I would not be here. Should the law mean more than life? The room grew quiet. Some nodded, others frowned. The debate grew loud as more delegates argued back and forth. While the council talked, Megan noticed the lights flickering again. She nudged Alex and pointed to a group of engineers working in the corner. Their faces showed worry. Megan walked over and offered her help. At first, the engineers were unsure, but when Megan showed she knew how to fix broken circuits, they let her work. Alex and Rena watched as Megan worked quietly, fixing small machines and calming the nervous engineers. Soon, a new voice broke the debate. It was a broadcast from outside the summit. Someone had sent a message across the galaxy showing the humans fighting the predator. The video played on the large screens. The room watched in silence as Alex and Megan risked their own safety. When the clip ended, many were still unsure what to think. The council decided the humans would not be sent home, but they would be watched closely. The rules would stand for now. Megan and Alex were told they must not act on their own again, no matter what. If anything else went wrong, they should call for help, not act themselves. Alex agreed, but inside he worried. What if waiting for help meant someone would die? That night, a storm hit the summit. Heavy winds shook the glass walls. Many delegates could not sleep. Alex sat awake with Rena and Megan. Rena asked, "Is it always like this for humans? Always fighting to survive?" Alex smiled, thinking about his home. "It is not always easy, but we find ways to help each other. It is how we live." Suddenly, the lights went out completely. The emergency systems failed. Doors locked shut, and some halls grew cold and dark. Megan stood up and grabbed a flashlight. Rena looked scared, but Megan smiled and said, "We have handled worse." Alex went to check on the other delegates. Some were trapped behind locked doors. He talked through the glass, telling them help would come soon. As Alex walked through the dark halls, he heard quiet voices. He found a small group of delegates from a world where there was never night. They were afraid of the darkness. Alex sat with them, telling stories of camping in the forests of Earth, where humans found comfort in each other's company. The delegates calmed down, Trusting Alex to keep them safe, Megan and Rinna worked to help the engineers find the cause of the power failure. They found strange burn marks on the wires, like someone had damaged them on purpose. Megan followed the marks and found a hidden door. She called Alex over. Together, they pushed the door open and found a small device that was giving off energy. Rinna scanned it with her science tool and said, "This does not belong here. Someone is trying to make things worse." Alex wanted to tell the council, but the halls were still dark and the security teams were busy. He and Megan decided to wait for morning, but they hid the broken device in case someone tried to take it away. Rinna worried that things would get worse before they got better. By sunrise, the power was still out in half the building. The story of the humans saving lives was everywhere, but so were rumors. Some blamed the power loss on the humans, while others thought they were the only reason anyone was safe. The summit felt more divided than ever. Still, Megan and Alex tried to help wherever they could. Alex carried supplies, Megan fixed machines, and Rinna watched for new trouble. As the new day began, Alex knew the summit would never be the same. The rules had been broken, but maybe that was not always wrong. He wondered if anyone else would see things the way he and Megan did, or if the humans would be blamed no matter what they did. The story was not over, and the danger was still out there, waiting for someone brave enough to face it. The next morning, the sky above the summit was gray. The power was still weak, and only a few lights worked inside the building. Delegates were tired, some frightened, some angry. The rules of the Galactic Union were being tested, and everyone wondered what would happen next. Alex woke early. He looked out the window and saw workers fixing broken machines. Megan sat beside Rinna and shared some food with her. Many of the delegates had barely slept. They talked in quiet voices, worried about the power loss and the strange things happening on the planet. When a bell sounded, everyone was called back to the main hall. The green-feathered leader stood on the stage and spoke through the translation. "Devices. Last night was dangerous, but we are safe now. Today we must be strong together. Remember the rules. No weapons, no violence, no harm to this world." Some delegates clapped, but others did not. The rule was clear. Humans listened quietly. They knew they were watched more closely than anyone. Megan squeezed Alex's arm. "We must be careful," she whispered. "One mistake and they will blame us." Soon a new problem began. As the summit restarted, a loud shriek came from the back garden. Delegates rushed to the windows. A large, wild creature with red fur and sharp claws had broken through the barrier around the summit. It was bigger than any dog from Earth and moved quickly on 6 legs. The creature roared and chased a group of delegates who were outside. Rinna gasped. "That is a native predator. They are not supposed to come here. The rules said no weapons, no violence." Security drones tried to stop the beast, but they were weak without full power. The animal knocked them aside. Megan looked at Alex. He saw the fear in her eyes, but also the courage. Some delegates froze in fear. Others ran but tripped and fell. Rinna's friends, the clear-skinned aliens, were caught in the open, too slow to escape. Alex did not wait. He ran outside waving his arms to get the creature's attention. Megan grabbed a long stick and followed. They did not think about the rule now. They thought about saving lives. The creature turned and charged at Alex. He dodged, rolling on the grass. Megan yelled, swinging her stick at the beast. It snapped at her, but she jumped back. Alex threw a piece of metal, hitting the creature's side. The animal turned to chase him instead. The delegates watched in shock. Some filmed with their devices. The humans were breaking the rule, fighting a native life form. But they were saving others. Alex led the animal away from the group, ducking behind trees. Megan kept waving the stick, shouting, trying to distract it. Rinna ran to help her friends, pulling them to safety. At last, the creature stopped, confused by the humans' wild movements. Alex climbed the tree, making loud noises. Megan threw rocks, hitting the ground near the animal's feet. The creature turned and ran into the woods, scared off at last. The field was quiet again, but everyone stared at Alex and Megan. The humans were breathing hard, scratched and dirty, but safe. Rena hurried over, thanking them with tears in her eyes. "You saved us. You broke the rule, but you saved us." Security came, their faces serious. One officer, a tall alien with orange eyes, spoke loudly. "Humans, you ignored the law. You used violence on native life. This must be judged by the council." Alex stood tall. "We only wanted to help. We did not want to hurt the creature. We wanted to save lives." The council met in private, but everyone talked about what had happened. Some delegates said the humans had no respect for the rules. Others said the rules were wrong if they stopped people from saving lives. Rena spoke for Alex and Megan. "If not for them, many of us would be gone." Word spread quickly. Messages flashed across the summit humans had broken the rules. Some feared humans even more now, thinking they were too wild for the Union, but others saw the courage in their actions. More and more, the story grew. Some said humans were dangerous, but some called them heroes. Later, the council called Alex and Megan to speak. The room was silent as the green-feathered leader spoke. "You broke a rule of peace. You saved many. What do you say for yourselves?" Megan answered first. "We did not want to break the rule. We only wanted to help." "Sometimes you have to choose what is right, even if the rule says no." Alex nodded. "Where we come from, every day is a fight to survive. We learn to protect each other. We do not want to harm, but we cannot stand by and watch others be hurt." The council talked for a long time. Rena stood up and spoke. "I am alive because of Alex and Megan. The humans are strong, but they are also kind. Maybe the rules need to change." Outside, delegates waited for the answer. The news reached the homeworlds of many species. Some said humans must leave. Some sent messages of thanks. The summit was divided. Meanwhile, the power in the building kept failing. More lights went out. Megan tried to help the engineers, using simple tools to fix wires. Some aliens watched her work, surprised that humans could build and repair, not just fight. Alex helped move equipment and carried supplies for the medical team. Slowly, some delegates started to trust the humans. They saw Alex carrying a wounded delegate on his back. They saw Megan sharing her water with a thirsty child from a desert world. Each small act changed some minds. Not everyone, but a few. But there were still whispers. Some wanted the humans gone. Some wanted them punished. The summit had become a test, not just for humans, but for all the species who wanted peace. The rule had been broken. The galaxy watched and waited to see what would happen next. That night, Megan and Alex sat together under the stars with Rena. They were tired and worried, but also proud of what they had done. Rena smiled and said, "Sometimes the right path is not the easy one. You showed the galaxy something new." Alex looked up at the sky. "We just did what anyone should do." The story of the day spread far and wide. Some called it a disaster. Others called it a lesson. The question remained, could the rules change, or would the humans pay a price for saving lives? The galaxy was a wide place with many different kinds of life. Some worlds were gentle, with soft winds and warm seas. Some worlds were harsh, with storms, deserts, and wild animals. Earth was known as one of the hardest places to survive. Other species called it a death world, and the humans who lived there were called deathworlders. Many aliens were afraid of them. But the Galactic Union wanted peace, so they invited everyone to a special summit on a planet named Solace, which was. Safe and quiet. Alex stood at the entrance of the summit building. He was not very tall, but he looked strong. His hair was short and brown, and his eyes watched everything. Megan stood next to him. She had a calm face and steady hands. She did not smile much, but her eyes were kind. They were chosen by their people to show the galaxy that humans could be trusted. Their job was to follow the rules and be good guests. The summit building was made of glass and silver. It shone in the morning sun. Alien ships landed on the green fields outside. Delegates came from every corner of the galaxy. Some looked like walking plants, some had scales and tails, and some floated in special chairs because their world had no gravity. There were thousands of languages spoken, but everyone wore small devices on their collars to help them understand each other. Inside, the air was cool and filled with soft music. The walls changed color with the mood of the crowd. Alex and Megan walked through the hall with other human delegates. Some aliens moved away when they saw the humans. Others stared, their eyes wide. Alex noticed a group of small blue-skinned creatures whispering and glancing at him. Megan gently nodded to them, trying to show she was friendly, but the creatures turned away, nervous. The opening ceremony began. The leader of the Galactic Union, a tall being with green feathers, raised its wings and spoke about peace, respect, and unity. Everyone clapped, some with hands, some with tentacles, some with flashes of light. The rules were simple: no weapons, no fighting, and above all, do not harm the planet or each other. Every delegate promised to obey. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The music stopped. A low hum filled the room. At first, everyone thought it was part of the show, but then the floor shook. Security drones zipped past, but they crashed into walls. Sparks flying, the sound of alarms echoed through the halls. People began to panic. Some ran for the exits, others froze in place. Alex grabbed Megan's arm and pulled her to the side. He watched as several delegates fell, tripping over each. The translator devices crackled with many voices all at once. No one understood what was happening. Alex scanned the room. He saw a group of fragile-looking aliens, their skin almost clear, huddled together. They looked lost and scared. Megan whispered, "We need to help them." He nodded. "Let's go." Moving quickly but not running, Alex and Megan crossed the hall. They dodged a rolling food cart and leaped over a broken chair. Alex knelt beside the frightened aliens. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. The leader, a tiny woman with silver eyes, shook her head. Her translator device was broken. Megan knelt too, using her own device to repeat, "Come with us. We will get you to safety." The group followed Alex and Megan through a back hallway. The power flickered again, and the air was full of the sharp smell of burning wires. Megan led the way, checking doors for danger. She remembered her training: stay calm, keep moving, protect others. Alex watched their backs, listening for any new danger. They found an exit near a garden. Outside, the air was cooler, but the sounds of panic came from all directions. More aliens had gathered in small groups. Some were crying, some arguing, some calling for help in their own languages. Megan spotted a familiar face: Rinna, a scientist from a water world. Rinna's skin was pale blue, and she wore a vest with tiny blinking lights. She looked lost and alone. Megan hurried over. "Rinna, are you all right?" Megan asked. Rinna shook her head. "My group is missing. I cannot find them. I do not know what is happening." Her voice was shaky, and she blinked back tears. "Help you," Alex said. "Stay with us." As they moved, Megan counted the delegates with them. She tried to keep everyone calm. Alex spoke quietly to those who were afraid, telling stories about Earth storms and how humans survived by helping each other. Some aliens listened with wide eyes, amazed that anyone could live in such a place. The panic was spreading, but the humans did not run or shout. They worked together, showing the other species what it meant to be from a hard world. Megan helped a small plant creature who had lost its shoes. Alex lifted a heavy crate blocking the door so the group could pass. Rinna pointed out a safe path. Through the gardens, using her knowledge of the building's layout. By the time they reached the far side of the summit building, they had gathered a group of over 20 delegates. Many were tired, some were injured, but all were safe for now. Megan checked each one for injuries, using a small first aid kit from her bag. Alex watched the skies, worried the power problems were not over yet. In the distance, emergency crews tried to restore order. The green-feathered leader of the Union called for calm, but not everyone listened. Some blamed the humans, afraid that Death Worlders had caused the trouble. Others argued, saying humans were the only ones staying calm. And helping others. As the sun set, the group found shelter in a side building. The windows faced the gardens, now quiet under the stars. Alex and Megan sat with Rena, sharing food from their packs. The delegates from other worlds began to relax, seeing that the humans were not monsters. They listened to Alex tell stories about Earth's deep forests and high mountains, about people working together to survive cold winters and hot summers. Rena smiled for the first time. "I think your world is very hard," she said. "But your hearts are strong." Megan nodded. "We learned to help each other because we had to. It is not easy, but it made us who we are." As the night grew quiet, the group slept in shifts. Alex stayed awake, watching the stars, thinking about the rules and the fear he saw in so many eyes. He wanted to show them that Death Worlders could do more than fight. They could bring hope and safety, even in the darkest times. No one knew what happened next, but one thing was clear: the summit had changed. The rules were meant to keep everyone safe, but now, with the humans helping others, some aliens began to wonder if maybe, just maybe, there was more to life than following rules.